Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is Torn Tuesday, your weekly dose of all things Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. My name is Justin, and I'm joined by my favorite pals over here. They sing a lot, and I don't mind it. I enjoy their songs. In fact, I enjoy their monotone singing. I appreciate all that. You guys are in for a treat because I've got late breaking news for you. Amazon has just hired the production designer from Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. That's right. This is our first confirmation of any creative person that was involved in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Was he in The Hobbit? I don't think he was involved in The Hobbit. Jules Cook was a lead production designer. I believe you can see him on some of the appendices, but he is a New Zealand artist and designer. He's worked with Weta for many years. He has been involved in everything from the Matrix movies to Lord of the Rings to so many things. He is one of the best production designers, not only in New Zealand and artistic directors. He's one of the best in the business. Amazon has officially brought him on to design and help create the billion-dollar Lord of the Rings TV series. This is the most exciting, comfortable news I've had in months and months and months. This is the most positive news I've ever had. You know, one of the things that all of us fans have said is like, when is Weta going to be involved? And I think we've all come to an appreciation of Peter Jackson's films, and we're ready for a new vision. But the technical expertise and the creative expertise cannot be discounted. Weta Workshop can do it all. Weta Digital can do it all. And this is the first time that we've got confirmation that a Lord of the Rings production designer is going to be on. Again, if you're just joining us, I see you guys in the chat room. You guys are joining. Thank you for jumping in real quick. Jules Cook, he has been involved in the Matrix movies and in Lord of the Rings and so many more things. He is one of the industry's best, and he's one of New Zealand's best artistic directors. This does not mean Weta is involved. This just means Amazon has hired Jules Cook, K-O-O-C-O-O-K, not K-O-O-K, Jules Cook. Look him up on IMDb, and you'll be as happy as I am. So this is great news, Ellen. Yes, it is. This is. I feel like for the last 6 months or more, it's just been bad news after bad news. Tom Shippey left the project. I can't talk about John Howe just yet, but it's not good news. A stunt woman got hurt, bashed her head during rehearsals. Like, it's just. This is the first good news in a long time. Jules Cook, he's in New Zealand. He's at work. New Zealand beat COVID, the first round of COVID. They opened up their country, so they're bringing in a lot of the directors and the crew back, but they have to go through quarantine things. So people that are in New Zealand, that live in New Zealand, that are native to New Zealand, they're at work. Jules Cook is at work right now as we speak on Lord of the Rings. That's exciting. Finally, some great news. I'm just so excited. So we got late breaking confirmation on that. He'll cook up some good Lord of the Rings. Troy, the dad jokes. I love it. Keep it up. The artistic community. I like this quote. So Sarah in the chat room says, the artistic continuity is so very important for the feel of this series. I agree. I think we are all ready for a vision. I think we are all ready for new writing. I think we're all ready for a new director, and I'm excited for J.A. Bayona, and I'm excited for the Spanish influences he's going to bring. And we could do a whole series of episodes on the Spanish influence of mythology and the Spanish influence of history to Tolkien when he wrote it. So, but the artistic continuity is important. There's one thing that no one faulted Peter Jackson's Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. It's the artistic feel. And we've confirmed this from day one. They announced it in the original announcement. Amazon intends to be in continuity with Peter Jackson's films. They've paid for the rights to Peter Jackson's creative vision. They've paid Warner Brothers. They've paid everybody. That's why this show is costing $1 billion. They had to pay off a lot of people to ensure that they have the rights to play in Peter Jackson's cinematic universe. Whether they choose to go that route, that's their choice. I think it would be a disappointment to do that. So really exciting. So we at New Zealand 1, COVID 0. Yes. They better not ruin the continuity of Peter Jackson's films. No, I don't think they're going to ruin it. And look, the fact that they brought in John Howe so early on, I think means that they artistically, cinematically, aesthetically want to continue that. You guys, a lot of rumors been going around over what's happening with Amazon. What is the current status? Are they filming? So here's what happened. Quarantine. New Zealand shut down. Half of the actors booked a flight out of the country, went back home. They have families. Half of the actors do not have spouses and do not have children. They are actors on the acting life, so they stayed in New Zealand. So basically, half of the actors are in New Zealand. Half of the actors are at home. So now that New Zealand is totally open, they're slowly going to bring people back, because the original schedule for all of the actors, these big actors and stuff like that are involved in the show, they were originally scheduled to be done in May and June, and so they would be home all summer. And you know how families are. They may have other work booked as well locally to where they live. So there might be all I'm saying is that the actors that went back home, they probably have schedules out, but they're scheduled to come back in October. So basically no filming until October minimum, because half the actors went home. Matt just joined us. Thank you for joining us, Matt. The big news today is Lord of the Rings production designer Jules Cook has joined Amazon's Lord of the Rings series. This is the first official confirmation of any creative individual to be involved with Amazon's show. This is the first creative individual to be that was part of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, Oscar-winning Lord of the Rings, record-setting Lord of the Rings, to be a part of Amazon's series. Now, he is one of the best in the biz. He worked on The Matrix. He's worked on a ton of movies, big movies, franchise movies. So I'm excited. I am totally excited. Looks like filming's back on the menu, boys. Yes, it is. October. So, guys, if you hear any rumors and, if anyone says they got this covered, it's not true. Filming is scheduled to resume in October. Actors, half the cast stayed in New Zealand. The other half went home to their families, their wives, their spouses, their children, and so they won't be back. Also, if you have followed some of the main actors on Instagram, they have babies, and one of the main actors is still breastfeeding a baby. She might have had a baby during quarantine. I don't know how old her old is, but she's still breastfeeding. So, they scheduled the pilot shooting to end in May, so people could, go back up amongst their lives. So COVID has just rearranged everything. So right now, half the cast are home. This is exciting. I'm so excited. My hair is tiring gray with all of this. Yes. People in the chat say you saw our tweet today about Orthanc, and that is not a confirmation of anything in the show. So basically, as we are all want to do during quarantine, we're going back and we're reading the books, aren't we? We're reading the books, right? Orthanc was built in the Second Age. Orthanc was built post Numenor. Orthanc Isengard already existed when Orthanc was built. Orthanc was a late addition. The original intent, everything that we've heard and everything they've announced and everything that we've heard about Amazon series is that it is the story of the Second Age and the story of Sauron from the initial corruption of all the leaders of men and elves and dwarves and the distribution of the 19 rings to the War of the Ring. And the intention is the final season of the final season of this series, which could go 5 seasons, 10 seasons, who cares? We want to go, would be the War of the Ring that we only got a glimpse at in the prologue narrated by Galadriel. So that's basically, as I'm reading some of the history of some of this stuff, Orthanc was built in the Second Age after Numenor fell, after Numenor did its thing, and by the time we get to Lord of the Rings, it's old and it's built. So I just wanted to post that and get excited about the possibilities of what's going on. So it's really exciting. Who do they have hired building the archers, armor, and weapons for the show? Again, we don't know. Why would you film in New Zealand, in Auckland, and not hire the Oscar-winning team of Lord of the Rings? Why would you not hire the Oscar-winning team of many other movies? Why would you not hire Weta Workshop and Weta Digital? Honestly, we know Tom Shippey's not involved with the series anymore. If you want to calm fans' nerves, and maybe Comic-Con has something exciting to preview from Amazon. Comic-Con's going all online this year. We have a panel. Amazon has a panel. What are we going to talk about? What are they going to talk about? The best thing Amazon can do right now at Comic-Con is say, Weta Workshop is officially doing the weapons, the armatures, the armor, the bigatures. Weta Digital is doing the thing. They can cast whoever they want. They can schedule however they want. They can delay it however they want. If they tell us at Comic-Con that Weta is involved, we can all bring a sigh of relief. Take a sigh of relief. Do you guys in the chat room agree? Why did Tom Shippey leave? So we've gone over this a few times. We were the ones to break it, and for 6 weeks, a lot of people didn't believe us. And then other people confirmed it. Basically, everyone you saw in that video, the Amazon video, the announcement video, the only thing that we have to go off of, everyone that you saw was only hired for that video. They weren't hired for the show. They were hired for that video. They were hired to draw a map and consult on the outlines of the script and the map. They were not hired for the show. And so it was misleading of Amazon to imply that John Howe and Brian Ship and Tom Shippey were involved in the show. They were not. They were involved in the construction of the map. That's it. And it was a little bit deceiving, and there's a lot of bad blood right now already swimming in the water. So I don't think anyone's trying to topple Disney. So yeah, that's the updates. We've got a Lord of the Rings veteran. We've got shooting start dates, and let's see if we can try to get Cliff involved. Cliff Broadway. Let's see here. Two 226-843. Yeah, that's right. Let's do this again. So what do you guys think? Is Weta Workshop's involvement a make it or break it thing for you? I want to see you in the chat. James, what did I say? Not Darwin Cook. Darwin Cook's an artist. Jules Cook is a production designer, a veteran production designer, an artistic director for many, many films, including Lord of the Rings. He is officially involved. So that does not mean that Weta is involved just yet, and we're hoping Amazon has something to say at Comic-Con. Yes, Darwin Cook is a deceased writer. He's most famous for his DC characters. I'm a big fan of Darwin Cook. Speaking of deceased artists, if we can get Cliff in here, we're going to do a tribute to Ian Holm. Guys, I was reminded that we lost the original Bilbo earlier this year, the man that did the voice of Bilbo in the animated Lord of the Rings and Hobbit. Did he do both? I forget which one he did. The original voice of Bilbo died earlier this year. We did a tribute, and here we are just a few short months later, and Bilbo on the screen. So it's a tough year for being a Bilbo, and it's a tough year for fans. I think this is the year. This is the big transition year for Tolkien fans. We started off the year losing Christopher Tolkien, and there's a changeover in total control of the family, the Tolkien family and the Tolkien estate. And do we know who's working with Amazon? Do we know who at the family, at the Tolkien estate, is overseeing the scripts and the changes and the storylines? No, we don't. We don't know who's in charge. One thing about Christopher Tolkien, like him or not, he controlled Lord of the Rings with an iron fist for 40 years. Thank you for the reminder of Orson Bean. It's the actor. Orson Bean was the voice of Bilbo, and Ian Holm brought him to life. So we got. If you guys remember our conversation with Sylvester McCoy, Radagast himself, the Doctor of Doctor Who, I was reminded this week of the story that Sylvester McCoy was originally on the short list for Bilbo Baggins in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Sylvester McCoy and Ian Holm were the final two choices. And both of them are absolutely perfect for the role. And I think both of them are just... How do you choose? Sylvester McCoy, Ian Holm. And Peter Jackson was gunning for Sylvester McCoy. The studio wanted Ian Holm because Ian Holm had been nominated for an Oscar. Ian Holm is a classic Shakespearean actor, and he's a dramatic actor. And I mean, just you guys know. I mean, he brings a heavyweight sensibility to every movie. So it was Peter Jackson wanted Sylvester McCoy. The studio brass, the executives wanted Ian Holm. So when we talk about not studio decisions, we've had that conversation of the studio meddling on the Hobbit films and adding love stories where there wasn't any. In this case, the studio execs were right. Don't you guys think? In this case, the studio execs overpowered Peter's vote to cast Ian Holm as Bilbo Baggins. And I think he tells this story on the appendices of The Hobbit. Sylvester McCoy says when they started doing The Hobbit, Peter called him up and said, "Hey, I've got a special role just for you." After all of those years, Peter still felt that Sylvester McCoy needed to be a part of Middle-earth. And, of course, Sylvester was brought in without even an audition. Peter just said, "That's our Radagast." And that's it. And there you go. So, Nikki agrees, says Sylvester was made to play Radagast, by far my favorite character. He's so cute. Jeff says, do you think we will ever see a version of Lord of the Rings with Martin Freeman in the prologue? I don't know. I don't think so. And here's why. Business. Show business. Remember, it's show business. We've talked about Peter Jackson making decisions and then the studio making decisions because they're footing the bill. So it's show business, right? If you re-edit Lord of the Rings and you put Martin Freeman in that flashback in the prologue, you now have to pay Martin Freeman for all time for being involved in Lord of the Rings. It's a financial decision now. It's a financial decision. So that's why I think there's no pie to further share. They don't want to share the pie. They've got enough of a big cast, splitting residuals, and I just think if you put Martin Freeman back in Lord of the Rings, you got to pay Martin Freeman, and that's the rules. I don't make them. Uh, Leontine says, just put your outrage on Twitter and it will blow up and something will happen. This ain't the Snyder Cut. Oscar says, as Guillermo del Toro says about studio control, you must pick your poison. Meaning you have to pick carefully those decisions which you must fight to the end. And Peter Jackson has said that. And Peter Jackson has said one of the reasons that The Hobbit, turned out the way it did is because he did not have the energy to fight every battle because he was still rushing scripts. He was still rewriting it all the way through a trilogy that was supposed to be 2 movies based on a single book. So, yeah, it's a studio. So it's unfair to just overwhelmingly say the studios always make bad decisions. I mean, they made some really bad decisions on The Hobbit, and they made some really, really bad decisions on Justice League. But the studio deciding to cast Ian Holm over Sylvester McCoy as Bilbo Baggins will go down as a good studio decision. Don't you agree? He was the 7th Doctor. Pete, great to see you. I miss the days where everyone could join the chat with a little video preview, and Pete would always have a wonderful hat on. And Pete says, Weta is not really a make it or break it, but I hope they are involved. Whether or not writing and characterizations are high quality and not stupid or shallow or overly modern is important to him. So, I agree. So you're saying go to champion. Here's the thing. Let's not make a big deal out of. We shouldn't make a big deal out of hiring Weta just yet, because it's still in production. In fact, it's not even in production. They haven't even filmed an entire episode. They don't even have the pilot done. They don't even know if they like the pilot. And the pilot is supposed to tell you if they like the cast working together or not. Imagine if, what if someone doesn't work out, like Stuart Townsend? They didn't even finish the pilot. I fully expect other actors, after the pilot is filmed in October and November, I fully expect in December, January, we're going to get recasting announcements, because that's just the process. Just like we recast Aragorn with Viggo Mortensen after they'd started filming. So I think Weta needs. I think Weta will tap us on the shoulder if they need our help and our championing. Don't you guys think? Andrew says the first film that made him aware of Ian Holm was Alien. He was amazing in Alien, and every time I watch the new Alien movies and Covenant and everything, all I can think of is Michael Fassbender doing an impression of Ian Holm. Does that make sense? I'm kind of taken out of the new Alien movies because it just feels, I don't know. It feels like Michael Fassbender's trying too hard to be Ian Holm in the new movies. Trying too hard. Yeah. We had other news. Other news from the Mark. I remember. Traveler's Tales is a video game company, or was a video game company. They're closed now. They made all the Lego Lord of the Rings and Lego Hobbit movies, and video games, and Lego Star Wars, I believe. They made all those really, really, really fun Lego games, and that company does not exist anymore. So the CEO of Traveler's Tales, who made the Lego Hobbit and Lego Lord of the Rings games, just released his 10-minute pitch video for making a high-end Hobbit video game. What's next on Green Dragon Gossip? Gosh. Green Dragon Gossip. This is the gossip. The CEO of Traveler's Tales, a video game company that no longer exists, just released an 8-minute YouTube video or 10-minute YouTube video of his pitch for a high-end Hobbit video game. This is when Guillermo del Toro was still attached to direct. They spent $1 million on the pitch video. That's how much these games cost, right? These games can cost $50 or $100 million. The video game can cost as much as the movies sometimes. The video game company pitched Warner Brothers and pitched Guillermo del Toro and Peter Jackson on doing an action-adventure Hobbit game, which I'm dying to play, and now I wish they had done it. And then the trouble with Guillermo and Warner Brothers just got cold feet, and no Hobbit games were made. And then they ended up doing a Lego Hobbit game. So the gossip is they spent $1 million on the pitch, making a demo of a Hobbit game, using some of the graphics and assets from Lord of the Rings, because they didn't know what Guillermo del Toro's Hobbit was going to look like. So they used what they had to make a proof of concept game, spent over $1 million on it. And now that we're 10 years out from the Hobbit, the CEO of the game company released his pitch video and talks about that. That's the gossip. That's the tea. Go to YouTube and search for the $1 million Hobbit video game pitch video. You won't be disappointed in the quality of the video, and you will be disappointed that it doesn't exist. Ah, man, that's definitely the gossip. What other Green Dragon gossip? All right, I'll give you something. 2 more actors from Amazon's Lord of the Rings series posted a photo holding the Silmarillion. As far as we know, the Tolkien estate has not licensed the Silmarillion. So, the only thing that half of the cast now has posted, the only thing Tolkien related that is being allowed to be posted, are pictures of them holding a copy of the Silmarillion. And it's like Instagram content too. It's like, perfectly posed, and it's like, well worn. It's a well worn book and everything like that. It just feels too forced. And the gossip is that Amazon is trying to misdirect fans and get them excited about something that's not coming. And the only thing that they've allowed all the actors to post is a picture of Silmarillion, because the Silmarillion might be good for research, but to inform what's going on in the Second Age. But there isn't much in the Silmarillion that they would be filming. So I think it's misdirection. That's the gossip. I think all of these Lord of the Rings actors are purposely posting pictures of them holding the Silmarillion because Amazon wants content. Amazon wants them to post it, and it just does not feel genuine. Why would Amazon do that? Why would Amazon put John Howe and Tom Shippey in a video about the show when they're not even involved in the show? Amazon is full of trickery. They are definitely playing some Gollum games. Why not post a pic with the appendices? Why not post a pic with what we've heard they've actually licensed, the Unfinished Tales? That's the gossip. Green Dragon gossip. Amazon has actually paid an extra licensing fee to the Tolkien estate to license the unfinished tales to flesh out a lot of the things in the Second Age. So, according to our gossip, according to the Green Dragon gossip, and the people gossiping might have had too many brews because they now come in pints, but rumor has it that Amazon has ponied up some extra dollars to the Tolkien family, and now they have rights to Lord of the Rings, appendices, unfinished tales, but they have not yet paid for the Silmarillion. So, by then Amazon is telling all of their actors to post pictures holding a copy of the Silmarillion to misdirect us. That's the gossip. What else you guys want to know? Name a good show Amazon has done other than The Boys. The Boys, starring Éomer, Carl Urban. Amazon has a new show coming out called The Wheel of Time. The Wheel of Time is a fantasy novel series, a very well-respected fantasy novel series, whom the author credited Tolkien for inspiration his entire life. Let's see what happens with Wheel of Time. I'll bet, I don't know, we're not going to judge anything until the Wheel of Time is out. But Amazon has the Wheel of Time, and rumor has it that they are going to use Comic-Con to debut the Wheel of Time. I'm accusing Amazon of being sneaky and false. Ellen wants to remind people that Amazon did Good Omens, and that was really good. It was really good. It was really good. Good Omens. If you want to watch good Amazon content, watch Good Omens. There's other the shows that Camilla is mentioning, which is Vikings, The 100, Outlander, Stranger Things. Those might be on Amazon Prime, but they were not produced by Amazon. Yes, Dylan. Amazon is doing the Wheel of Time. In fact, Wheel of Time is going to be out probably this year. Can you imagine? Okay, let's set. All right. Everyone knows what happened with Game of Thrones in the final 2 seasons, and everyone knows when Amazon announced acquiring Lord of the Rings, every single hardcore fan of Lord of the Rings said, "No, no, no thrones in Middle Earth." That was like our one caveat. No thrones in Middle Earth. No, stay as far away from Game of Thrones as possible to make Middle Earth. And you know what Amazon did? They hired the #1 writer of Game of Thrones, Brian Cogman. They got the young Ned Stark, Robert Aramayo, to play Elrond, young Elrond. They've got Uncle Benji, Benjen Stark, as potentially one of the lead antagonists of the show. Maybe Sauron? So, we're already... Lord of the Rings is already in Game of Thrones territory. So, they didn't listen to the fans. So why do I think that they're being sneaky and false? They need to misdirect as much as possible. Kaylin Griffin says, I haven't heard of the Wheel of Time. So, imagine a world. Imagine a 2021. Imagine December of this year. Imagine a December of this year. They are in the middle of filming Lord of the Rings, which is going to be 6 to 8 month shoot. And they release The Wheel of Time, a high-end $1 billion $500 million fantasy series from Amazon. And what if it's not good? You know? It just... Why hasn't Amazon hired Weta Workshop? Why hasn't Amazon hired Howard Shore? Why hasn't Amazon consulted with Weta Workshop? Why did Amazon let Brian or Tom Shippey go? Who's on set making sure fidelity to Tolkien is top of mind? Why did they hire the #1 Game of Thrones writer? Why did they hire 2 Thrones actors? You know what? I shouldn't discount Game of Thrones actors. The acting in Game of Thrones was amazing. So, all credit to the wonderful performances in Game of Thrones. So, Wheel of Time, Robert Jordan. And the last 2 books were finished by Brandon Sanderson. Thank you. I couldn't remember who wrote Wheel of Time. Robert Jordan wrote the Wheel of Time. It is a lot of books. It's a whole series. And then he passed away, and Brandon Sanderson picked up the notes. Basically, Brandon Sanderson became the Christopher Tolkien of Wheel of Time. Andy Steer says, so many questions. So many questions. Yes. So this is the weight we are carrying right now. Amazon's making all these decisions. They're being completely quiet about it. They're not saying anything that we want to hear. In fact, they're doing the exact opposite of what we told them not to do. So that's why I'm so excited. That's why I'm so excited to announce today. That was our breaking news. Jules Cook, the production designer for Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Jules Cook, who's worked on The Matrix and so many other films. Jules Cook, one of the best artistic directors and film production designers in the business, worked on a ton of stuff. He's officially part of Amazon's Lord of the Rings series, and he's working on it right now as we speak, as they enter pre-production with an all New Zealand crew. That is the most exciting news out of everything that I just said. All this stuff. The best news we could hear is that Amazon has hired a production designer from Lord of the Rings. So Tammy says, why can't we get a rep from Amazon to visit here? Your words to God's ears. Yeah. We have a permanent invite. And we do know that they watch this show, and we do know that they show up to our panels at conventions, and we do know that they're watching. Amazon's watching. So, Kim says, if I don't like it, I'll pretend it doesn't exist, just like I do with the new Star Treks. Just like I do with the new Star Wars. You know? Sean says they want to make Game of Thrones. They want the money it produced. They want the clout it produced. A cultural phenomenon. Lord of the Rings has the biggest budget in television history. We've heard it's ballooned up to $3 billion. It's just a crazy amount of money. So, well, I was hoping Cliff would come on and do a tribute to Ian Holm, but looks like he is not available. Cliff has been traveling for the last few weeks. You know, he had some traveling to do, and as soon as quarantine was lifted, he got the heck out of town just as riots and things were happening here in LA. So it's an interesting thing. Nadia, I like to pretend the new Star Wars doesn't exist. What else are you guys saying in the chat room? So, anyway, that's all I have. If Cliff's not going to join, we'll do a tribute to Ian Holm in a very soon future episode. Maybe we can find some good clips of some of his great performances. Maybe we can find some audio clips of Ian Holm as Frodo Baggins. Yeah, you heard that. Ian Holm was Frodo Baggins? Yes, he was. So let's see if Cliff can do his homework and get it done. So looking forward to more news. We're going to keep our ears to the ground now that New Zealand quarantine is over and production is back to work. The sets are being built. The designs are being finalized. And everything in New Zealand is safe. And gosh, I wish I lived there right now. Don't you? This is Justin with Torn Tuesday. We're here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're streaming live. We keep the video up on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Twitter, so you can catch it later. One of these days, we'll turn it into a podcast because I guess people like that. And we hope, and we will catch up with Cliff soon, and we'll catch up. We've got some more good stuff going on, and I will leave you with this. Go to theonering.net. Go to our main website, theonering.net. We have just published brand new Tolkien scholarship. A brand new book has just been announced. It's not John Garth's The Worlds of J.R.R. Tolkien, which we will have a discussion with John Garth real soon. We've just announced new book. It's not all about video games, and it's not all about toys, and it's not all about movies and TV shows. Let's go back to the printed page. So check out theonering.net, where we have the scoop on a brand new scholarship novel book researched about Tolkien. We will catch you all next week. My name is Justin. This is Torn Tuesday. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much.